Well, welcome. I'm your host, Dr. Terry Warren. We're here at Wisdom and Knowledge, and I'm so excited about the show today because, I have been in the entertainment business, and, one of my issues has always been that the lack of high-quality films for the faith-based industry. It just isn't there. I mean, there have been some, but a lot of the films, you don't have the quality of production, you don't have the great actors, you are missing out with some of the special effects. And recently I was introduced to a film called Rekindling Christmas, and today we have the executive producer of the show, director, and one of the actors in the show. And the reality is this show, and I will tell you because I watched it, I really enjoyed it. But what I really loved was the story, and I loved the quality of the production. And so I'm here to introduce you to the producer and director, James Ganeer, and his son, Christian Ganeer. And, James is a veteran in the industry. He has Rio Vista Universal Films, which produces some very good, great films. But I'm not going to boast on his films, although I think they're amazing. I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself. James, welcome to the show. Christian, glad you made it here. James, tell us a little bit about who you are in Rio Vista Films.
Oh, man.
Rio Vista Universal.
Yeah. That's a big question.
Yes.
So, we'll see if we can kind of break it down maybe into some more manageable parts. First and foremost, at our core, we're a family. Rio Vista Universal really is myself and my wife, and of course, our kids and that. And, for us, the family's always come first. It's come before the business and all that. And I went to USC Film School, was, trained by the best in the industry and that. And then when it came time for raising kids, I left the industry for 10 years. And then one day, my kids decided they wanted to act. And I said, okay, let's head back to Hollywood on there. And so, and that was an adventure that we started out like 12 years ago, a little over 12 years ago. And so in coming back, it just made more sense to establish my own production company and something that we had a little more control of and that. But at our core, we're a family, and we've created this great environment at home that is really creative on there. And so it's like anything the kids want to, do or whatever, it's like, well, let's talk this through and let's explore this. And let's see if this actually makes sense, and we'll break it down. And they all wanted to act at first, and so like we went down that path, and now they're all doing different things in entertainment, whether it be, like game design or coding, or it be doing like animation, like artwork and that, or Christian, who decided he wanted to keep on acting on there. When I came back to the industry, we started with stuff that was unscripted, like Gearheads on Discovery. It was about car shows and making fast cars really fast. And as you get your kind of footing, and as you come back to an industry, then you get to kind of move more into what you enjoy more. And I've always enjoyed movies. Like, there's nothing like a great story. And really to kind of relate it to, the Bible is, Christ always taught in stories. Yes. And he did because that's what really connects with us as humans on there. And so if you can tell a really great story, you can really affect people, not just entertain them, but you can affect people and help change their lives for the better.
Oh, I agree. So, James, let me ask you this. What's unique about this is it's a family film produced by a family for a family.
Yes.
Now,
and that never happens.
That never happens. But your wife has a very, very instrumental part in this, correct?
Oh, yes.
Tell us about your wife, because you know, your wife is, you know, she is the one that helped give you what you needed to produce this film.
Oh, absolutely. You know, over the years, I have helped develop a lot of talent, and very good at that. You know, finding people's, you know, quote, gifts or superpowers or whatever you want to call it on there. But you find those things and you help develop those on there. And you know, I had gone through several writers where, you know, I'd helped them develop and then they kind of moved on to somewhere else. And she had an interest in writing, so I helped her develop those skills and those talents. And she just, you know, USA Today best-selling author, and just, you know, 30 novels out, and you know, that she had written. And I had her start doing some scripts and adapt one of her books that was called Rekindling Christmas. And I had her go ahead and do that in screenwriting and really kind of exercise those muscles, because it's a whole different writing skill when you go from novels to you go to screenplays on there. And she was really good. You know, winning quite a number of awards in that, which is not uncommon. You know, she will really focus. She's got a great focus on there. But in addition to writing, you know, she ended up doing all the production design on there. So when you see, like, just these gorgeous, you know, shots in the film where you just see Christmas decorations everywhere, and it's just wonderful. It's almost like it's just a treat for your eyes, you know, on there. That's her, you know. So writing a great script is one thing, but then to turn around and actually bring that visual element, it's a whole other thing altogether. So we definitely wear many hats. But, you know, as you exercise your talents and you explore others, like, you can develop multiple talents and that. And so it's a lot of fun working with her, and she's such a huge part of everything we do.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you know, she wrote a great script. It was a great novel, and you had to have something good to begin with.
Well, yeah, as a director, if I don't have a great script to begin with, oh, forget it. I mean, and I relate this to, like, a blueprint. Like, if you don't have a great blueprint to start with when you're making a building, like, you're constantly going to be having trouble, and the end product's not going to be that great. But if you have a really masterfully designed blueprint, what a treat it is for a director, and really the director is like the builder, when you're the general contractor that's making sure that this blueprint comes to life.
Now, I understand in this movie that well, first of all, let's do this. Tell us a little bit about Rekindling Christmas. What makes it unique and different from other movies that are out there? I call it a Hallmark-style movie.
Oh, yeah.
I remember those great movies, you know, like Winter Wonderland, and, you know, all of those amazing movies that were done at Christmas. And it's been a while since I've seen a great Christmas movie done.
Well, yeah. So, you know, Hallmark has done a phenomenal job over the years of really creating these kind of Christmas fantasies, really, for people. You know, something to strive for. I wanted to go ahead and modernize it a little bit more and ground it on there. So it was kind of more grounded in reality, but it was a reality that could be a possibility for people on there. And I took a few things in the genre convention and really pushed it. There's actual real conflict in this. You know, Hallmark and Lifetime and all these networks, they don't want conflict at all. But real life is we do have conflict. We do have real problems that pop up. And, you know, if you're able to show how people work through those conflicts, wow, what a treat that is. Because not all of us grew up in a family where we had parents that could show us how to work through a conflict, how to get to the other side. Because that's the most valuable part of anything. How do you get to the other side on there? And this, so I get really excited about doing stories where we have some real conflict that could really happen that you can relate to, and then show how the characters transverse that, and then got to the place where we all want to be, and that's happiness. That's what we all want in this life. We all want to be happy a lot of us are looking in the wrong place for happiness, but we all want to be happy.
Now, you know, I watched this and I definitely recognized that it was a family-based movie. It's something you could sit down with your wife, your kids, and everybody watch it for Christmas. Matter of fact, I see it going into the video library of those things that people pull out every year at Christmas and watch. And there, you know, there's always those movies that I like to watch at Christmas. And I see this as one of those movies. But this incorporated a lot of things that pastors could use and others could use to teach lessons related to the faith-based community. What are some of those elements that were in the movie that, you know, like forgiveness or whatever the case may be? What do you see? What makes this really something that the faith-based community would embrace?
Oh, so that's another big question. So
Sure.
Everything I do, I like putting lots of layers in. You know, and I'm, you know, because we're on this show, I'm going to just relate this to Christ and the parables. He taught in parables. And so there was like one layer that people would understand, then there was another layer, then there was another, and then there was another. And as you were able to understand more, or you were dealing with one thing or another, you understood it a different way. But there was something there on so many different levels. And so, like, that to me is some of the most exciting ways of telling stories, is so that there's so many different things for people to get out of it. So one would be Jesse. Jesse is, well, I mean, he's a very lovable guy. He really is. But he had made a choice early on in life to, you know, seek after the fame and wealth and all that. They came to his doorstep, and so he took advantage of that. But the thing is he left the love of his life behind. He was engaged, and he left her behind. And so the story starts beyond that, but we do kind of get back to where he is. So he's looking at correcting a mistake that he made early on in life. So he's looking for redemption on there. And he's realized that he's never been as happy as he was then. And once again, we all want to be happy, right? So that's just Jesse. And then you move on to, you know, Annika, who she's lost. She's had a loss in her life, and you really don't know exactly what it is. And that's the thing is like, rather than info dumping and just telling people everything up front, as you watch, you see it reveal. And this is like real life, in that when you talk with somebody, they don't just info dump everything in their life, but as you get to know somebody better, and as you peel back the layers, you start to get to know who they really are. You may have known who they were before, but years have passed. There's somebody else now. And so as you get to know somebody, then those layers peel back, and then you get to really know what is at the heart of it. So, I mean, I literally could spend hours just breaking down this movie and all the lessons that are in it. And this kind of goes back to a learning style that I had created called stealth learning, where people are learning things even though they don't know that they're learning. Because they're too busy having fun and enjoying something, they don't realize the lessons and the stuff that they're learning and pulling in. And so I just incorporate the stealth learning into all of the entertainment that we do, so that people can learn these lessons, learn how to communicate better. Learn that, you know, if you persist on the right course, eventually it's going to be in your favor. Eventually you're going to get there. And to enjoy the journey. I mean, you got to enjoy the journey. Like, and I tell everybody, if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right. So enjoy it as you go. It's not just a destination.
Yeah. And, you know, as a pastor, I looked at the movie, and I saw redemption. Mm-hmm. I saw forgiveness.
Yes.
I saw...
And it didn't come easy.
No.
Forgiveness doesn't come... Like, some people think it's easy. It doesn't. Yeah. You got to work for it. You got to really, really want it.
You know, and I saw, you know, the desire to capture what was missing and go back. And I saw a lot of I saw a bunch of stories in there that I could relate to share with my different congregations.
Oh, yeah.
So we only have 10 minutes left, so I want to, it goes quick. You know, Kristen, you were a key part of that movie. You were like, you know, one of the focal parts of it. First of all, I have to ask you this. Do you enjoy being an actor?
Yes, I enjoy it so much. In fact, that's why I've been doing it for like 11 years. I think it's so awesome that I can bring other characters that other people write to life, and I just think that's so special, and I get to meet a lot of cool people while doing it.
So let me ask you this. You're a teenager. You're how old?
I'm 12.
You're 12. So you're almost a teenager, right? And this is a different world than going to school and all the stuff that typical kids do. How do you maintain a balance in your life?
Well, when I see a character, you really have to get into what their mindset is, what they do, and you really have to not only just play your character, but while you're on set, you also have to remember that you are that character and that you have to always stay in character to really get their mindset.
Now, what are some of the TV shows or movies you've been in so far?
Well, I was on Days of Our Lives for a while. I was in a couple of episodes of Grey's Anatomy and also Criminal Minds. So I've been so lucky to get all these roles and really portray these characters.
And do you think, because you're like a child star, a lot of people see you, and you know, does that change your perspective? I mean, do you stay level-headed, or do you allow the fame to get to you a little bit?
I mean, I think I'm still just a normal kid. I mean, yeah, it's kind of cool to see myself on TV, but I don't really see myself as like someone who's almighty and so great. I still think I'm just a kid.
And is your foundation Jesus?
Yes.
Amen. Amen. You know, I see you as a role model for a lot of young boys and girls out there, young people who have a dream, have an aspiration, and you bring a balance to it. And I see you as a role model for many, many children. What I'd like to do now, before we go too far, is I'd like to show the actual trailer for the movie so people get an idea a little bit of the movie. Can you play the trailer for us?
Annika and I used to be engaged.
That's her? That's college girl?
Annika Jolly.
Jesse Winchester. What are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be off playing football or something?
Oh, no, I busted my knee. Think I might be out for good this time.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Isn't that football guy you're always watching?
Yeah, Jesse something.
I'm Todd James Marshall.
Nice to officially meet you, Todd James Marshall.
You're coming tomorrow, right?
Well,
Wow, this is amazing.
after all this time, what do you want from me?
We can't.
Having kids seems to turn guys off.
Anybody who doesn't see that TJ is amazing isn't worth your time.
That's an amazing trailer. So let me ask you this, James. What do you hope for people to get out of this movie when they watch it? I mean, I've heard some testimonials. I heard that, you know, people said they laughed, they cried. It was like an emotional roller coaster, and they got to like feel like they were that character. Yeah. And because, to be honest, all that stuff that went on in that movie, millions of people have experienced.
Yes.
They've experienced somebody walking out in their life they've experienced a loss. They've experienced other things that happen in that life. Single moms. I mean, single moms and divorce are everywhere. You know, I mean, it's not something we like to see in the church, but it's a reality. Matter of fact, the divorce rate in the church is almost as high as the divorce rate in the world. So we can't ignore that divorce exists.
No.
And we can't ignore...
And we can't leave them behind.
No.
We cannot leave them behind. We cannot make them feel like they're not a part of everything. There is a character that everybody can identify with in this. And it can help them in... So first and foremost, you must entertain. That's the rule of entertainment. You must entertain. And then second, there's a great opportunity to teach people how to communicate better, how to make better choices in life. Like if they made this choice versus that choice, how it might turn out. If they decided in an argument maybe to not go one direction, but actually listen to the other person in the argument and maybe think about it. Like sometimes it's hard to do that when you're in the middle of an argument, you know, or disagreement. But to really think about it, and as you start to see things from other people's point of view and start to be open and start to accept, there's other possibilities that start to happen. And then there's you know, well, I don't want to ruin the end of the film, but I will tell you, my films always end good. You always are going to have a wonderful ending.
You know, the ending was amazing. And, you know, as a pastor, I loved it. I know there are some religious people that will go, oh, well, you know, that's not biblical. You know, people need to realize this is not a documentary on a biblical thing. This is a movie, okay? And there are some certain liberal licenses that are given when you make a movie.
Absolutely, because this also needs to appeal to children. Because this is a family film. Like children need to be able to see things and understand them. And sometimes they need to see things in a way different than the way that adults see things on there in order for them to understand them the same way that adults understand them is later on. And so the whole idea was to have it at every level and for this to become that Christmas classic that you want to keep on watching over and over and over again, that you gain something new each time, that you enjoy more each time, that you want to share it with everyone, and that you actually find that your life is better for watching it.
Kristen, if you have something to say to the audience out there about the film, say it.
Well, I hope you will enjoy the film as much as we did making it, because it was so amazing making it, and we just loved everything about it. So we hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, we became a giant family. I mean, that's the nice thing about we all became this family. It's so much so that, and this was a fast shoot. We shot this in 2 weeks. Very few filmmakers know how to shoot a film of this quality in 2 weeks on there. But, you know, I'm a member of the PGA, the Producers Guild of America, member of the TV Academy, an Emmy judge. All of that training and all that went into this. And we created an environment on set where it's a giant family. And because we have that environment, it ends up getting captured by the camera, and so that you can feel it coming off the screen.
So if people want to find out more about the movie, where do they go?
Good question. So RioVistaUniversal.com, that's our website. So that's one place. If you have Facebook, you can go to Rekindling Christmas on there. So you can find out a little bit. There's lots of posts that we have on there. Obviously, any Google search is going to find you lots of stuff on there. But if you want to watch it, if you're here in the U.S., it's available on Amazon. It's available on Google Play, iTunes, Dish Network's running a ton of ads right now. DirecTV. It's on any cable network on demand across the U.S. right now. If you're international, you can go to Vimeo.com, Vimeo.com, and it's available on Vimeo anywhere in the world. Doesn't matter where you are, open to any territory. You can go ahead and purchase it right then and watch it right then.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they can also buy it from Amazon?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. So that you can buy or rent. for most of the places. Some places are only on demand, so you can only just rent it. But yeah, it's out there and available to everyone.
Okay, and it launched when?
December 1st.
December 1st, okay.
Yes.
Well, you know, I want to recommend that you get this movie. I want to recommend that you buy it, put it in your video library. You know, this will be something that you and your family will watch for generations after generation. And it'll be one of those classics that you will always enjoy. So as we wind this up, and I think we have a couple of minutes left, Jeff, any last thoughts or words regarding, you know, what you hope will come from this film? And real quickly, what's the next project?
Oh, okay.
Because you have another project coming up, which is something else that the faith-based people need to see.
So,
1 minute?
Yeah, first and foremost, thank you for your support. For us, independent cinema, you know, we do things different than the Hollywood studio system, and every bit of support helps. So thank you so much for that up front. As you support us, we're able to do more films. The one that we filmed right after this one, we still need some more post-production financing on, is called No More Goodbyes. And that's about two interracial foster brothers who end up going on the run to keep from being split up by the system when their foster mother passes away on there. And Christian stars in that one, along with Jaquan Jackson. And it's just this intense story. And of course, Christian plays a character who is not just PTSD from witnessing his mother being shot by his father and then being put in, but he wasn't found for 3 days on there. You don't see that in the film, but it is referenced on there. But he's also autistic on there. And so, you know, most of us don't know much about the foster care system. We really kind of shine a light on it. Not that we make anybody the villain, but we see this issue from a 360 point of view, from so many different points of view. Everybody's trying to do the right thing, but the system's broken. But if we all work together, we can overcome that broken system, and then we can really change the world.
You know, that movie is going to be incredible. I know that the faith-based community, you know, as a pastor, I've counseled many women who've had their kids taken. I've counseled women whose kids have gone into the foster system, and I've heard the horror stories that exist. So, you know, I want to, you know, let's look forward to the upcoming movie. And thank you, James. Thank you, Christian, for being on. Thank you, audience. Again, I know I just got back from Africa. I was gone for almost a month. Unfortunately, that wasn't my intent. My intent was a week. But it's good to be back here at the studio. And I hope you enjoyed the show today. And I encourage you to get this movie. Thank you, and you have a blessed day.